Good afternoon. My name is Alan Alfred, and I'm with Fighting for Our Heroes Foundation. And this afternoon, I have my friend Trevor Fischer with us. And basically, we'd like to have a discussion with everybody about what it's like to go inpatient for PTSD counseling. Uh, One of the biggest problems that I've always found with veterans who have PTSD, who are basically their life is going downhill and they're spiraling downhill, is the fact that as it gets worse, they basically tend to isolate themselves off, and they feel that if they reach out for help with their PTSD, that they're going to get put into a hospital and they're going to throw away the key, and basically it's going to end up like a horror film. And I basically know this not to be true, as well as Trevor knows this not to be true. And Trevor himself has been inpatient in the past, and that's why I brought him in so that we could sit and discuss this. So I'm going to open up the floor with you.
Well, like you said, a lot of people have a
Stigma?
stigma, would be a good word for it, of mental hospitals, and a lot of people think mental hospitals, crazy rubber rooms. Hollywood really hasn't helped, especially with the horror movie industry and everything. You find a lot of times when you ask people about mental hospitals, rubber rooms, guys in white coats, straight jackets, being chained to a bed, being given those drugs that just zombify you.
You never see your family again either.
Never see your family again. They're going to keep you in there for 10 years or maybe the rest of your life. It's just not the case.
Right. Basically, before Trevor went in, that was exactly the same conversation I had with him, as well as I've had with hundreds, if not thousands, of other veterans over the years. Basically, it's a ruse. You thought before you went in that that was what was going to happen to you, yet you're sitting right here with me today, this afternoon. Would you like to tell people about, how the process worked from your perspective, and basically how everything went, how long you were there, the different levels of freedom and everything, and how it actually goes, so that it would help other people understand that you're not going to walk in and it's like a roach motel where you never come out. Actually, nothing could be different from the truth. You were home a couple of months later. So, would you like to explain?
Well, pretty much, I was on annual training down in El Paso, and I just had a complete emotional breakdown due to the environment, being back in the desert environment, all stemming to my PTSD from OIF 2007, 2008. And I had to talk with a couple of battle buddies of mine. We brought in the hires, and chaplain came out. We had a long discussion, and eventually we decided it was time for me to go inpatient, to go talk to some doctors. So we went over to the emergency room, and the doctors basically held me there until they could find a bed available. I was transported by ambulance to UBH in El Paso, and
Nobody hurt you.
no, nobody hurt me. There was no restraints. There was no drugging or anything. They did all kinds of. They did do some testing, standard blood work and urine, drug screens, all that stuff, just to make sure I wasn't on any kind of drugs or anything, to make sure everything was, where it's supposed to be. Went over to UBH, and it was actually a very, very simple, effective process. You show up, you basically sit in this little waiting room for a little while. Guy comes in who's a tech, and he'll call you into a little room. No rubber padding, no restraints, no anything. And he'll basically sit down and go over the rules of the facility with you and explain everything. He'll give you a list of prohibited items. Items on this list are taken for granted, such as shoelaces, belts, strings in your shorts, even your cigarettes, lighters, anything that someone else can use to harm themselves or that you can use to harm yourself or somebody else. They don't do it to try to control you. It's simply to ensure that everybody's in a safe environment, since we're dealing with, people's safety. So, yes, they do take your shoelaces. They take your belts. If you have strings in your shorts, you take the strings out. Razors, toothbrushes, all that stuff is taken from you initially. The process lasted maybe 20 minutes. They let me go through my cell phone and take out any phone numbers or anything that I wanted to have with me, to make calls from upstairs.
You were able to make calls basically
yes.
from within the very first day or two.
Yeah, I mean, within 10 or 15 minutes of being up there, I was on the phone calling you.
Actually, I remember that day.
I called my significant other and just let you guys know that I was okay and I was in there, and it's time to let the doctors do what they got to do. I met with the director of the hospital, who had a quick 10-15 minute meeting with me, and I actually broke down at that point because for the first time I was actually getting to focus on me. And I knew that it was okay to break down at that point and just let it all out because I knew that that was a place to do it. And we went out to the smoking area, and he actually let me smoke about half a pack of cigarettes before he took me upstairs. And we went upstairs. I met with the nurse. He introduced me to the staff and the rest of the group. And it was really a nice place. It's two people rooms. My roommate was really cool, really cool guy. Everybody up there was very welcoming. And hey, welcome to the unit. Here's who I am. Here's why I'm here. And
what was the average day like?
Average day wake up was about remote. Now it was a military unit in this particular hospital, so we did have certain mandatory things we had to do throughout the day. You had to clean your room. You had to do personal hygiene. You couldn't walk around stinking up the place. You know, they let you go a few days without shaving, but there was no beards, no goatees, anything like that. You'd wake up in the morning, approximately 5:40, and the tech just comes by, knocks on the door, says, "Hey, let's go. Time to get up." And we get up, 6 o'clock, we head down to the gym, full gymnasium. It had a weight room, volleyball court, basketball court, showers and latrines down there, water cooler, and it's basically do what you want to do. You can play badminton or whatever. And after that, they took us out for a cigarette break. We went back to the unit upstairs, took our meds, went to chow, went back out for a cigarette break. Came back, we had free time for a couple hours, and then we had group therapy, which was just a simple, we all met in this big conference room. We had a movie room there, as a matter of fact, and we all met in the room, and a therapist would come in, and she would just say, "Hey guys, how's everything going? How you doing today? How you doing today? Okay, well here's something that I think is going to help us." And we usually had worksheets that we'd go through, and you didn't have to share with the group if you didn't want to. You could sit there and not say a word the whole time, but for the most part, they like you to participate and go along with the programs that they have. After that, they would take us back out for another cigarette break. We'd go from there to lunch, go back out for another cigarette break, come back in. We'd have another group therapy session. And then for those of us with PTSD, we would have our PTSD session, which, was only about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour long. And then after that, we would usually have some kind of activity, whether it was gym, going down to their swimming pool and hot tub. We had a event called the ropes course that we would do. We had arts and crafts, which was kind of fun. I made a wall.
Therapeutic.
Yeah, it was very therapeutic. And, a lot of people think that when you go in, they're going to put you on all these meds and that they're going to try to control you and turn you into a zombie. And granted, there are times that has to happen. It had to happen to me one time. And all it is a shot. It's simple medications that put you to sleep. That's it. It's Haldol and Ativan, and it puts you to sleep. And what that allows everybody to do is, number one, it allows you to get some rest and to just calm down. That's it. It also allows your doctors time to meet up with the team, go through your file, go through everything, evaluate the medications that you're on, do a little bit of research on the medications, and find out what they need to give you next.
To basically regroup.
Exactly. Exactly. And to look at the issues, talk to the staff. My particular incident, I was out for 3 days. I don't remember those 3 days. But I do know that when I woke up, I had a meeting with my doctors, my primary doctor, and a couple of the other techs and the director of the program. And they said, "This is the medication we're going to start you on."
So in other words, they changed your medications at that point.
Yes.
Because the medications that you were on at the time basically weren't working for you. And so therefore they had to make some adjustments to that so that they could get you back on track.
Exactly.
With the program.
And I enjoyed going inpatient because for me, this was my time. This was my time for me. And when you're dealing with psychotropic medications, especially when you're dealing with a doctor you only see once every 3 months, if that medication doesn't work, you have to go 3 months to your next appointment before there's a change.
As we're inpatient, they can change it the following day.
Exactly. I had an incident where they had me on one medication that was, they gave me restless fingers and toes, and I couldn't sleep. And I had gotten up and went to the nurse's station and said, "Look, I can't sleep." They actually called the doctor, and the doctor said, "Give him some Ambien." And they gave me some Ambien, and I went to sleep. And I woke up the next day, and they gave me a pill that basically flushes your system and takes everything out of it. And then they started me back on my regimented schedule the following day. And then, boom, we started with a new medication.
I remember when you went inpatient. I remember all of the counseling. It was pretty intensive counseling. You had different counseling going on pretty much every day of the week. Learning how to journal, to express your thoughts, working on your medications. Basically, it was a time in your life to work on you. When dealing with the VA and outpatient counseling, it can be 15 minutes once or twice a month. You could literally, as you stated, you could end up seeing the psychiatrist once every 3 months. This accelerated that process and made it so that literally they were working on you 24 hours a day, and it slowed down all of the problems in the world. I mean, at least that's what I got out of it when this happened with you. It slowed the world down so that basically we just had one thing to focus on, and that was you getting better. And that was your daily mission, was to wake up in the morning and, go to counseling and then go to group and then do this and do that, see this doctor, the psychologist, the psychiatrist, the social worker, and so on. So basically, what could take years physically to do in outpatient, it only took a month and a half to 2 months. It was just shy of 2 months when you were inpatient, which actually turned out to be the best. I mean, I can't speak for you, but do you agree that it was very helpful and that it changed your life for the better and basically helped you?
Through my PTSD treatment, I absolutely 100% would not be where I am today without that UBH experience, without that inpatient
So
experience.
what would you tell another veteran who is on the fence, worried about the process? What would you tell them if you could?
Do it.
That's it?
Do it.
Do it. Yeah. I look at it and I say, I've spoken with numerous veterans that were in your shoes, and going inpatient is never going to kill you. It's only going to give you the opportunity to get the help that you need, get it faster, get it more efficiently, get more paperwork for your case, get your meds worked out, get you different tools. I mean, the reality is this: with 22.3 million veterans in the United States, they don't have the facilities to hold on to people forever. Walking into a VA hospital, going into the psych ward and seeking help, they don't have the facilities to hold on to you forever. What they want to do is, for taking away from the military side of things into the VA side of things now, typically if you are suicidal or on the verge of it and having ideations, they basically want to put you in a facility, stabilize you. That could go anywhere from a couple of days up to a week or two tops. Then they want to refer you out to an inpatient program, which typically lasts 2 months. And on the weekends, you can go home. And very similar to UVH, where you went, if you're not in classes, you can go outside and have a cigarette or call your wife or call me, because a lot of veterans call me while they're in there. And basically, there is a certain amount of downtime and free time. If you live close by, Saturday and Sunday, oftentimes you can go home, or you can go to a park or a movie with some other guys that you're in the program with. I mean, the reality is this, and this is why we're shooting this video in the first place, is they don't have the facilities to hold on to you forever. They just want to get you the tools to help stabilize your life, work your meds out, give you some different techniques and ways of coping with your PTSD, and then basically send you on your way. And then if you send you back into outpatient, and if there's a problem again, maybe repeat the process. It's not a perfect system by any means. I think we can both agree upon that. But at the same time, I feel that it has helped you grow and stabilize and learn how to deal with your PTSD in a much better way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Trevor, for coming down and hanging out with me. Thank you very much. This is Alan Alford and Trevor Fischer from Fighting for Our Heroes Foundation. Thank you.